how's it going? How's it going? How's it going, Luke?
It's going good. Thanks for having me on tonight, Lola.
Oh
Really
yeah,
appreciate it.
I'm super excited right now. I'm so excited, Luke. Today's your birthday.
Yes, doth it is my birthday.
And we're gonna get into why that is so exciting right now, okay?
Mm-hmm. All
Um,
right.
but also I hit 1,000 subs. How awesome is that?
Congrats.
I know, right? I'm
All right,
super
way to
excited about
go.
But this is all about Luke, y'all. We're celebrating Luke tonight. He has an awesome book called Hybrids to Killing Fields 1 through 3 that's up right now. We're going to be talking about that as well. But Luke, tell us, why is it so exciting that you are celebrating your birthday today?
It is so exciting because I almost didn't have any more birthdays. I think that's probably the easy way to put it. I like a lot of people know I got sick back in August of 2021 with the Delta variant, and I spent 150 days in the hospital, 5.5 weeks in a coma, 72 days on a vent, 94 days in a bed without any therapy at all, without any movement. And yeah, so it's been a long journey coming back. And, I said goodbye to my family and everything. So I thought for certain it was the end. So this is this birthday means a little bit more than some of the other birthdays that I've had, I think.
I am so excited to have you here, man. I'm so excited you came out of that. And, it's beautiful to be sitting here talking to you.
Oh, I appreciate that. It's beautiful to be sitting and talking to people. It really is. I love it. It's exciting.
Have you had a lot of questions about like your time in hospital and dealing with all that?
I have, and it's not anything that some people's like, well, I'm kind of tired of talking about it. Whatever. I'm not. It's. I
It's part of
find
your
that,
life, man. That's
yeah.
yeah.
I also the one thing I've learned is that, there's, uh, I guess really the only way to describe my recovery is miraculous. I mean, they went from telling me that I was going to die to here I am. And it was okay. Well, you're going to die. Well, you're going to live, but you're probably never going to be off the vent. And then, okay, you're going to be, maybe you'll get off the vent, but you'll never walk again. You'll never not be on oxygen, and kind of like just all these different things. And I've kind of blown through all of those expectations of not going to make it. And here I am. So, so the best way to describe it is miraculous. And most people, and especially in our world today, there's a lot of negative things, and not a lot of people get to see the miraculous things. Or they've heard about COVID, they've heard about the stories, they maybe read about some of the experiences, but it's different when you have contact with somebody and meet somebody that's actually gone through it, and kind of gone through this process. And so we want to see it, we want to understand it, we want to hear about it because it can inspire. And so I'm actually very grateful. Let me preface before I say this: I would not want to go through this again. But I'm actually grateful that I've been able to go through it, because it's produced something different inside of me. There's been a lot of personal growth from it, but it also additionally has been a source of inspiration for some people. And so if, something I've gone through can help somebody else be inspired to, to push through, their tragedies and come back better, then that can't be a bad thing, right?
No, not at all, man. Like I said, I'm super excited and happy to see you sitting here talking to me right now. And before we go any further, I'm going to say hi to our chat because we have a pretty good
Let's
one
do
going
it. You
on
gotta,
here.
yeah.
And so I just want to say hi to everybody and
Yeah, and they've been waiting patiently.
Welcome all the new people. Gomer Kyle. I love it when I see people's names and they make me laugh. Like that just cracks me up. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
How you doing, Gomer, if you're still in the chat? Zach Price. Hi, Zach Price. How are you doing? What's up? What about? I think it's Eddie or Edie.
I would say Eddie, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Edie.
I
I don't know. How would you say that?
The only reason I think Edie because it doesn't have two D's. But
yeah.
I don't know. I'm Southern, so I mispronounce everything. Um,
Right.
I think I'm pretty sure when I named my second child, I mispronounced her name, and it's just been her name ever since. What's up, Instant Karma? How's it going? I see you over in text chat all the time. Uh, Kaoi? It looks like
Maybe
Kale.
Chewy? Che? Or maybe K? Yeah, I don't know. Like chaos, KOE? I don't know.
And then
So here's the deal. You're Southern. I do live in the South now. I'm originally from Indiana, so I'm a Hoosier, and Hoosiers pronounce everything wrong. You know,
I'm
everything.
glad, I'm glad I'm
Yeah,
not alone in
yeah.
this.
So names particularly bad. So
Silva said so. What's up, Silva said so? Oh Lord, Zach says that he says I need to get to 4,000. No, because I'm gonna have to do more. Cocoa Bean, what's up, Cocoa Bean? Tug's in the chat.
hello, Tug. Been watching his videos a lot lately about that Amber and Johnny stuff.
He's doing a really good job covering it.
He
Like
really is.
I watch him every day. Like I keep it
Yeah,
on as I'm doing my other stuff, and
yeah.
it's just a whole crazy mess of
Yeah.
just insanity,
Clearly, I'm Team Johnny. I mean, how can you not be?
right?
And have a brain and have a
Well,
heart.
you know what? I'm team abuse victims, right? Like
Yes.
I think that men can be just as much a victim of abuse as women can. And I don't think it knows a gender, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like poverty or drug addiction or anything. It doesn't know gender, it doesn't know
Yeah.
color. It just knows people, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a part of our society. It's part of what we have to deal with.
Yeah.
And so
You know,
yeah, I'm
I
definitely
deal a lot with people with that have gone through abuse. So it's kind of a
yeah, and we were kind of talking about what you do for a living as a
uh-huh.
pastor and stuff.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm sure you do see quite a bit
Yeah.
of stuff. Sorry, I have like ADHD, so I get like
No, me too.
Chinese squirrel syndrome running.
Well, you saw that. I just turned my head. I saw something out the window, like squirrel. Oh, wait, I'm doing something.
um,
Yeah.
Maria P, what's going on, Maria? Flaming Vulpix. I'm kind of concerned by that name. I don't know if I said it right. Vulpix.
Vulpix. Yeah, maybe that's right. I think it's right. I
Dealing
mean,
with
yeah.
Delta. What's up? Sharon in the UK. What's up, Sharon, UK? Treat Lynn West. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for coming by, for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for being here for Luke tonight as well, as we celebrate
Yes, thank
him
you.
and him having another year around the sun, right? Like
Yeah,
another
one more trip. Yeah.
and as a little one comes in giving me gummies here. This is the life. Mookie Mock. What's up, Mookie Mock? Christine Cottrell. Treat Lynn West. Not quite sure if I said hi yet, but hello and welcome. Jason Bascom. What's up, man? Ocean. How's it going, Ocean? Jeremy Burtz. What's up, Jeremy Burtz? He says hi, Lola and
What's
Luke.
up?
Tokome. What's up, Tokome? John.
Just John.
John has said quite a bit in the chat. He said, first B-Day after COVID. Congrats. Happy
Thanks you
birthday,
very much.
Luke.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Tokume said happy birthday as well.
Thank you.
I'm supposed to say hola to John. My bad. Hola, John.
Hola.
Joe Froggo, you little frog. He was one of the ones that was dropping the link in the chat earlier for my channel. So he's like, yes, now we get to have this furry suit stream. And I'm like, oh dear sweet Jesus. And I'll explain how that came about here in just a minute. Absent Alice, how's it going? There's Eddie Williams. See, it's got two D's. That's why I was thinking that was probably an
Yeah,
ED.
yeah. I'm seriously, I'm the wrong person to ask. Yeah,
24 Eyes, which I will be on his channel later this evening. He does an awesome like throwback show where he talks
yeah.
about things that happened in the week and back in the
Yeah.
80s and
I
whatnot.
was
And
on
memes.
last week. Yeah, I was on last
So
week. It was a lot
it's
of
a really
fun.
fun show, a really fun channel. Like if you haven't
It
checked
really
out
is.
24 Eyes, y'all should really go and check him out.
Yeah, the only problem that I have with that channel is the dancing ladies during the intro. They've all they've all taken my dance moves, like, and
Oh,
they do them better than me. So I mean,
was that something you lost with the COVID? Was your dance moves?
I never had them. I'm just messing. I never had them. Yeah, yeah. Let's say that. Yeah, no, COVID. Yeah,
COVID took your dance
yeah,
moves.
COVID doing my dance moves. Yeah, we'll pretend like I had some. No, I didn't. Sheesh. I suffer from I have WBS,
White boy
white boy
syndrome.
syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see. Your boy Hojo. What's up,
yeah. I'll
Hojo?
go.
Mrs. Good Stuff. I just had you up there and I didn't say hi. I'm so sorry. Like I said, shiny squirrel syndrome. Everything's running around me.
Yeah,
Mrs. Good Stuff is awesome. I will be on their channel tomorrow night over on Good Stuff Comicsgate doing Uncorked with her and Flying Feline and Amanda B, who are
very cool.
amazing ladies in this community. Amazing women.
Yes, they are.
Um, Quinn Quinn Elizabeth ASMR. I'm thinking it's supposed to be Queen, but
Well, I don't know. Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe I
hi.
just say it like
Thanks for
this.
coming.
ASMR,
ASMR.
ASMR, ASMR. I used to mess with my dad. I'm like, "What's ASMR?" She's like, "Dad, stop." Yeah, I'm like, I think that's my
I know
favorite part
we
about
get
being a
to
dad
embarrass
is,
our kids now, right? Like we were probably those
yeah.
kids that were embarrassed by our parents growing up, and now
Oh,
we get to do it.
absolutely.
It's
I
like
love it. It's my favorite thing about being a dad is getting my kids to roll their eyes at me. Yeah,
I think that's my husband's favorite thing to do to our daughter.
yeah.
Anna White Cell, how's it going, Anna? Vivi, what's up, Vivi? Let's see here. TT, how's it going? Kimmy D. And is that everybody? Have I said hi to everybody? Oh, Tarks9
It's
and
Charts 9. What's up, man?
Killbear. How's it going, Killbear? Hola, amiga. Krabby Patty. It's not coming up. I have to keep them distracted for not the next 3 hours. Come on now.
It's like for 3 hours. Oh my gosh.
That's very specific.
Yes.
Corey Barton. How's it going, Corey Barton?
Oh, Corey.
Pins in me. Y'all come up with the funniest names. I love it. XX. And it looks like there's a third X there, so it's triple X. Just me and Callie. How's it going? You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for showing up and hanging out with us. Good stuff. I saw good stuff. Where'd he go? There it went. Good stuff. How's it going? Shayla, thanks for coming by. Bee Smoke. Daniel Bello, how's it going? I think I got all of you. If I missed you, I apologize. I want to get back into celebrating Luke because, like I said, he has an amazing story to tell. And not only does he have an amazing story, he has an amazing comic out there to be backed. So, let's get into this.
All right.
All right. So I want to bring up your GoFundMe first.
Sure.
That way people can know where they can go to help. Like you said that you were you want to kind of start from the beginning and tell, since I have a lot of new people over here, kind of
Yeah.
that probably don't know your story as far as like being intubated and
Oh, that beginning. I thought you meant it was a balmy night in August, and
he
my
said
mom and
this.
dad. I just had a never mind. You don't mean that beginning. You mean, yes.
No, I don't mean the beginning of when you were born
Okay, right. Yeah.
or how you were conceived.
Of course, I don't know. I wasn't there. But
No, you came 9 months later.
yeah. But I thought maybe that, that's kind of dad joke that I drop on my kids, and they hate it. So I'm
I
sure
love
everyone else does too. But I thought it was funny, and you laughed. So hey, there we go. You know, I've got an audience of one today. So uh, yeah. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. Last August, I made a very um, distasteful joke. I just heard about this new variant called the Delta variant, and I said, "Oh, where can I get that cover?" You know, and related to comics, where can I get that cover?
Right.
And I tweeted that, and people give me a hard time, and I laughed. I brushed it off. 2 weeks later, I got the Delta variant. Turns out, turns out it's free. You don't really have to, you don't have to pay anything to get it. But so yeah, so I wound
It's
up getting
just the
sick with COVID.
aftermath.
Yeah, the aftermath you have to pay for, which is quite expensive. Trust me. Um, so I wound up getting sick. I went into the hospital. Was there for 2 weeks. Was not getting better. My oxygen kept, my oxygen levels in my blood kept dropping, and finally, I asked my, the doctor. The several doctors were kept coming in and talking to me, and I finally there's just one guy. He just seemed like a kind of a no nonsense dude. And I said, dude, what's the level with me? What's my chances? He goes, really? You want to know? I said, well, I wouldn't ask if I didn't. He goes, you're not going to make it. I'm what? I said, what? He said,
Wow.
yeah. He goes, unless we do something soon, you're not going to make it. And I said, well, that's uplifting. He said, well, I'm not saying, that, you know, he said, if you're not doing anything right now, it's not going to happen. I said, well, what if I do all this stuff you're asking me to do, go in the vent, go into the ICU? He goes, well, we'll give you about a 5% chance to pull through. He goes, the longer we wait, the less of an opportunity you're going to have to make it. It's going to be harder, given the fact, that you're in your 40s, you're overweight, you're diabetic, and he starts naming off all the things I am. And I was like,
Your
okay, yeah, all right.
checklist.
I'm like, chill. All right. I get the point. Right. So I said, how long, um, can I think about this for, can I wrap my head around this for a minute? And he's like, yeah, but you don't really have a lot of time. So, I started texting with my wife and trying to set things up, in case I decided to go down and I didn't make it,
Right.
But, I didn't tell my wife that the doc said I wasn't going to make it because I did not want to freak her out. But, we text back and forth and had a conversation with her briefly because I was having a really hard time talking at this point. I couldn't get very many words out.
Right.
And I said, I think the best thing for me to do is to go on the vent. And so we agreed. The nurse came in. I said I would like to talk to the doctor. I think I'm ready to go on the vent. And within minutes, they were they just swarmed into the hospital room. And as that's happening, they're like, go ahead and FaceTime your wife. And I was
I
like,
was about to
that's,
ask, I was like, well, how did your wife find out? Because, like,
yeah, so they have me call my wife FaceTime on the phone. And so she's
your poor
talking, the kids are
wife.
there and they're talking. I'm like, you know, I'm only able to squeak out two phrases to her. I said, I'm going to get a little emotional about it. But I said, I love you and pray for me. And so they sang, they sang a song to me. They, said goodbye. Obviously they're crying, they're, they're crying, and it's,
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a scary situation. I
yeah,
mean,
it is.
husband, dad,
Yeah. But
backbone of the family.
yeah, I pretty much said goodbye. And then they finally was like, okay, Mr. Stone, it's time to hang up. And so they told my wife, look, and then got to hang up, ended the phone call. And I remember I don't even remember getting moved from the bed that I was on to the transport bed to go down to the ICU. Like it was that I was in this state of not quite there. Um, and then they drugged me and I was out. Had a lot of really vivid dreams, some pretty interesting experiences. One thing that I would call more of a memory than a dream, um, where I've talked about this, like I talked about it with Clayton Barton
Oh
on his
wow.
show. Yeah, we wound up talking about it. Just the conversation kind of went there because he was interested in like kind of the dream sequence stuff. But uh, long story shorter, not short but shorter, we um, I woke up, throughout this process. Then I wake up and I'm in the ICU, and I was awake long enough for him to vent me, to take the vent out and pop the trach in, and then they rushed me into. My wife came in, and I remember her talking to me. I apparently had been awake for, at this point, a week or so, but there was like lights were on, but no one was home. And in that process, they went to go put in a feeding tube. My stomach perforated and fell away, so they had to go in and perform emergency surgery to save my life on the table there, because my stomach contents were entering into were spilling out into my abdomen.
Oh
And
wow.
so they had to do that. They had to do some stuff there to save me. And yeah, so just kind of a lot of really rough stuff.
So you had like a whole domino effect of things happening to you, and like
Yeah, yeah,
wow.
yeah. Pretty much anything that could go wrong did go wrong. COVID apparently produces a particular protein that has a kind of a jagged or sharp shape to it, I guess, is how they described it to me. And it's been known to cause nerve damage like neuropathy, and in some cases paralysis. And I did receive that. I've got neuropathy now in my legs, and I lost use of my left arm. I am able to move it around a bit. Some of it's coming back, but it's this is the movement that I've got from that. So, but yeah, so yeah, I just hit a bunch of walls, coming out from this. And when I looked down at my body, I remember uh, realizing something was not quite right. I did not look the way coming out of this the way I did going in. And I they we had a letterboard, and so I asked my wife through the letterboard what day it was, and I think she was like said like Tuesday or Thursday. Can't remember because that's not what I wanted to know. And I shook my head no, and she goes,
You want to know how long you were
yeah.
out.
She goes, you want to know what date it is, right? Well, I went in the hospital middle of August. I was vented. They took me down to the ICU on August 30th, and when I when I asked my wife what day it was, she goes it's October 9th.
Oh
And I was like, whoa, hold on a second. October still comes after September, right? That's
wow.
what I'm. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, well, let me think about that for a second. And she was just like, she was letting me process that. And
That
yeah,
would be
it
a lot
was.
to have to take in. Like you miss like a whole month of
Yeah, yeah, I felt a little bit like a Green Day song. Wake me up when September ends.
yeah.
So,
I
so
can
yeah, so
imagine. I can
that was
imagine.
rough. And then on top of that, my dad passed away while I was in a coma. Yeah.
Oh
So
my gosh! Like
yeah,
you just had like this whole just like mountain of stuff just like
2021 was like, let's crap on Luke here. Quite honestly.
you're like
Yeah.
fuck this year. I'm out of here.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, it's only up from here. Uh, but no, I looked down. I noticed I literally had to relearn how to do everything. Every muscle in my body had been atrophied. At one point during my coma, uh, they were having trouble. They had been feeding me through a feeding tube through my nose, and my body was rejecting the food that they were giving me, and so I kept vomiting. And so rather than run the risk of me aspirating, they just stopped feeding me for about 12 days. And so um, even the feeder muscles, like in your shoulders up here, that you don't have to
Oh,
work out, they're just feeder muscles, those had atrophied. And so I had to rework, I had to uh, uh, get to where I could close my mouth again because my mouth would just hang open, and had everything. I just had to relearn everything. And so it was quite a process, and still going through that process. After 150 days, middle of January, I got to come home, but it was quite a year, and I lost a lot of my time and a lot of the progress that I was trying to build with my, with my writing and art, and producing books and stuff like that. So during that time, last year by itself, the bills were $1.6 million. The insurance covered a great deal of that, so there's still probably $40,000 to $50,000 for last year with stuff that wasn't included in insurance. So stuff that was out of network, every ambulance ride, and things like that, which some of them
right,
were quite lengthy. And my, you know, as I woke up, I found out just how amazing the community was, especially this CG community, how amazing it was. My wife didn't really know a lot of people in the comics realm of what I did. She knew a couple of Florida creators, and that was about it.
right,
Well, people started reaching out to her, praying for her, wishing her well, and not just that, they started to give her money to be able to help pay some of the bills, and to one of the facilities I was in. There was only two facilities in the state of Florida that were rated or had the capability of helping someone get off of the ventilator. And so I went to the facility that was best rated in Florida for doing that was an hour away. And so they chose to put me there so that I could get off of the vent. And
right.
so if I was going to get off the vent, it was going to be at that facility. And so thankfully they were able to get me off the vent. But I was there for, 2.5 months. And my wife she drove 4 to 5 times a week to go see me an hour one way. And so uh,
That's love right there.
it really is. It really is.
That's
Um,
that's definitely not a Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation.
no, no, it's not. No, it's not. And
That's true love.
yeah, there's a picture of me that my daughter took while I'm in the ICU. It was after they had trached me and I was awake, and it's taken, and I've shared it on my Twitter. She takes the picture, and my wife is, leaning her head on the bed. She's got her mask on, and she's just looking up at me. And I love the picture because she's not looking at me like some sick, weird looking dude who's like obviously been through hell and back, but she's looking at me like I'm her husband, like I'm that guy she fell in love with. So it was, pretty special picture for me.
That's
Um,
awesome. That's
yeah, and
awesome. I
yeah,
love it. And
yeah.
I wanted to bring this up because I want people to give and help, because and I wanted them to hear your story so that they knew what they were giving to. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's one of the things with GoFundMe's and stuff like that.
I really do appreciate people's generosity. My best friend set up this GoFundMe, and my wife is the beneficiary of it. So I'm not personally. My wife actually gets all of it, so that she can pay
She's
the
a woman
bills.
after my own heart, because my guess is
Yeah.
she takes care of the bills.
She does. Yeah, she takes care of the
Yeah,
bills and stuff.
that's
But
what
yeah,
I do.
yeah, she makes sure I get my meds, or else who knows what would happen. But yeah, so some people have been very generous, and they want to give in this manner, and I appreciate that very much. Even though it's not my nature to ask for it. I would rather trade services. So it's like, back my book. I'll give you my art for money instead. So that's kind of my personality. But she very much appreciates it, because we just got a bill for last month's um, physical therapy, and it's $2,500 just
Yeah,
for 4 weeks. So yeah, it's quite
It,
expensive.
it racks up. It definitely starts racking
It
up.
really, really does. Yeah.
And I just want to point out here, Frog G's in the chat. Frog G, you're awesome. And
Frog G is awesome.
okay, go. Frog G's dropping a link to the GoFundMe, so it's in the chat. It's also in the description of this live stream. If you're watching on replay or something like that, and you wanna help Luke out, be a blessing. Even if you can't give, you can always share that link out so that maybe someone else who can give will. You know what I mean? But that's really what I wanted to do with this is to point people in that direction so that they can help, because I know that you've been through so much.
You
And
can see I was a lot bigger in that picture too. That picture was taken during 2020, and yeah, I've lost a lot of weight. I lost 80 pounds while I was in the hospital, and I've only
that's
put back
crazy.
on 34.
Are
So
you able to eat regular food now?
yeah, it took a while. It took a while, but yeah, I'm eating regular food. In fact, today for my birthday, we went to this place called the One Night Taco Stand, which I love. I love that place. So I often joke. I say I'm a slut for Mexican, and
Well, it
so
is Cinco de Mayo.
it is, yeah, Cinco de Mayo, and so some people don't get that joke, or they think they take it the wrong way. Take it however you want. I love Mexican food, I really do. But anyway, so we went there today. So yeah, I'm able to eat not as big a portions as I used to, but definitely I can. It was nice to be able to start eating again.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, Luke. I think all of us here in America could use to downsize our portions. Just saying.
True, yeah, but yeah.
But yeah, so I really wanted to bring that up. But you're also a comic creator.
Yes, I love making comics. In fact, one of the things I couldn't wait to do when I woke up was to start making comics again, and it was a little nerve wracking because my wife was very adamant. Whenever I went into the rehab facilities, they're like, he's a comic book artist, and she's like, no, you don't understand. He's a comic book artist, and he's got to be able to draw again. Like she already knew I had problems with my left arm, and that I wasn't gonna be able to play guitar probably for a while.
Right.
But they're like, she's like, he's right-handed. His he's got motion and feeling, so you've got to get him drawing again. And one of my therapists, Kara, she one day she just got me drawing. She patted up a pencil so I could hold it in my little feeble grip and had me draw. And it it has been like a driving thing for me since.
That's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome you can use that as your part of your therapy as well. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want to say I've had a few more people show up in the chat. Matt Barr, what's up, Matt Barr? If you're still around, brother, good to see you here, man. He said I just tuned in. And he's talking about the dreams.
Those dreams are crazy.
George Lucas. I doubt it's the real one, but hey, George Lucas.
It'd be awesome if it were.
Right?
Yeah.
Mez M, what's up, Mez M? Eddie Williams said, dude, just want to hug you.
Virtual hugs are awesome, bro.
Dante Drake said, this dude is awesome. Like I said, Frog G's dropping them links.
Frog G is awesome, man.
Frog G, have you seen the comic for Frog G that they're working on?
I have. I'm excited about it.
Right? I'm like, yeah. I'm super excited for when the Operation Wrench drops. I think that was the working title. Does it have a different title now, Frog G? If so, put it in the chat. And by the way, Matt Barr, who is up above, he has Rock and Roll Ninja. So everybody please check that out as well. I've got Belmont Press. What's up, Belmont? He has Smokes the Fox.
Yeah, Justin was just on Nerd Bacon, my show that I do on Thursday mornings.
Yeah, I saw you talking about the other day when I was talking about bacon, because for some reason my timeline on Twitter was full of bacon, and I was like, "What is today, like National Bacon Day or something?" Because everybody was posting bacon. I think that. Oh, Murphy's Law. Hello, Murphy's Law. I think that's it. So, how did you get into comics and like wanting to create comics, and what made you
I was a huge fan growing up at, like 5 years old of He-Man. And my my dad had a friend at work who found out that he come to pick him up one morning. They were carpooling. He found out that I liked He-Man because I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning watching it. And he gave my dad some comics to give to me. And, I didn't really appreciate the comics as much then as I did later in life. But I remember it was like, so 5 years old, I get these comics, I start looking through them. And then, that kind of sparked a love. Those books, wound up in a drawer and always would come out, every, every year at least. And then I started wanting more, and it got to the point to where, especially in the mid '90s, I just fell in love with the art style, the new comics, the indie movement, the underground movement, and I loved comics and RPGs and all of that stuff. And me and my friends would fantasize about making our own comics back then. And I wanted nothing more than to have this big, massive universe with all these characters that I'd created and have a role playing game with it and all this stuff. I wanted nothing more. So I had been drawn since I was a little kid. I was always had an aptitude for art. Started doodling when I was 3. As soon as I could pick up a pencil. And so even as a teenager, I tried to get a job at Marvel. Obviously, I wasn't very good, and they were very gracious and, turned me down with a lot of encouragement, the,
Mhm.
the Marvel way.
Hey,
And,
Luke,
yeah.
I've got to go take care of a baby's bottom.
Yeah.
I've got to change a diaper. Do you care to tell us about your first comic that you made?
My first comic that I made, um, yeah, it's unfortunate, but I'll talk about it. So I was actually, uh, really early on. I didn't know anything about comic book making at that time. And so my mom uh, was an artist as a kid, but wound up, getting pregnant and getting married very young in life. And so seeing that I had this artistic ability, she was kind of living vicariously through me. She was encouraged very much my artistic ability. And she knew that I wanted to work for comics and make comics. And so my first comic that I did, I created a bunch of characters, and I had this really stupid idea, and my mom helped me name it. They were called the Future Defenders of Modern Earth, or FDOME for short, which is, even saying it causes a little regurgitation to find its way into my throat, I think. And so this first comic, I didn't know the process of making or anything, so I got paper that was around the size of a comic book page, folded in half, and I drew it with a ballpoint pen, and I colored it with pastels and colored pencils. So I put it all together and lettered it and everything, and that was my comic. And I would take it around and I would show it to people, and we did photocopies, and it was bad in every sense of the term. So then I wound up finding uh, this book in the library, uh, called Drawing Comics the Marvel Way. And I just started going through that book, every bit of that book, and learned everything I could about publishing. There was a local printer, and I would ride my bike over to the local printers, and I said, okay, they would do magazines and stuff like that there. And I asked, I said, do you know anything about printing comic books? And they had an old guy there that'd been working in the industry for a long time, in the printing industry for a long time. And so I asked him every question I could think of, and he was very gracious. Here's this kid bothering him at work. He's not getting paid to answer any of these questions, but he tells me, all of the stuff that he knows about. It's like, well, it's drawn on these larger formats, and then it's shrunk down, for the printing process, and that the letters are done over it, and that you color it with these certain Pantones and all of that stuff. Well, obviously the '90s was when they started doing um, uh, the digital coloring, and I actually didn't start that until early 2000s, when I started working at a place where a friend of mine that worked there actually had Photoshop, and so he taught me how to use Photoshop, how to color comic books with it, and so we just started messing around with that. And I made a couple of other books past that F Dome book, but they were, they weren't, they still were rough and crude, but you know, that first one was, you know, the part that is the point where I started diving into comics, and but I tend to forget about all of the past comic work until about 2015, and that's when I start to admit to making comics. And if you find a book with my name on it prior to 2015 or 2016,
Right.
like that might be another Luke Stone. I don't know.
Well, let's talk about what brought you into Comicsgate. What made you want to be a part of?
That's a another great question, and uh, I had been Comicsgate adjacent for a long time, and watched the whole process and kind of what had happened with Gamersgate and that kind of stuff. And I
Right.
was also as a consumer just dissatisfied with things. And during the process of watching Comicsgate kind of have its growing pains,
Right.
there was a lot of drama that I just kind of wanted to stay out of. But I found that I really tried to remain neutral for the most part. Uh, and really, what had happened was I kind of how my friend Anthony Figaro describes it is you just one day you look up and you are Comicsgate. You didn't change. Everything around you changed. And so I realized that, the market had changed. Most of my uh, colleagues that I was working with in comics were Comicsgate related or also adjacent. And that a lot of the people that bought my books were a part of this Comicsgate movement. And I met Anthony Figaro on a stream. And that's when we started becoming friends and talking. And I asked him a little bit more about it, and I kept telling me, I think I'm wanting to make that move. And the deciding factor for me was I had worked with a lot of neutrals or antis for a while,
Right.
and unfortunately, we went to a convention, and I apologize for my dog. She a squirrel moves outside, and she has to
I've
just
got children, so I think we're
yeah,
even. Like,
yeah.
we're in the process of potty training the littlest one. That's why she came running in here, and I was like, "Oh no, oh no, what am I gonna find when I go in the bathroom?" So I had to go take care of her. Um,
And
but
I'll tell
anyway,
Eddie, I have watched that, and that was interesting.
oh, Eddie,
That how they made, yeah.
my bad.
Yeah, it's seeing how other
Zero was a
people
good movie.
found their way into and how they create that stuff. It's just interesting to me. But yeah, that's
Piper,
that's
what's
my
up,
editor.
Piper? I love Piper. She
Yeah,
is so awesome, so
we yeah
sweet.
we're working together on a couple projects. She's amazing,
I
very
noticed she was
talented.
your editor, and I noticed you also got Eric Weathers and
Mhm.
doing the lettering, and there was
Yeah,
someone else I saw on there that I recognized. Oh,
Brian
I'll
Dawson.
remember. Huh?
Brian Dawson,
Maybe.
maybe. I don't know. It's yeah.
It
Well,
looked like a really good team, though. Have you had a good
it is a
experience
good
with your
team.
team?
I have, yeah. I've been with these people for a while now. Well, Eric he's new to this issue, but you know, it was kind of that whole move into Comicsgate made me wind up losing a letterer. But I actually, so I distracted by my dog. I'm sorry. That
No,
squirrel
you're
moment.
fine.
That squirrel moment. But I wound up going out. I was at a convention, wound up going out to dinner with a couple of creators after the dinner, and just the way they behaved and the way they talked about other people that they called friends after they left the table, I
Yeah,
was like, I said, this is bad. I don't, I was already on the fence about, coming out and declaring. Um, Peter Samedi had already declared, you know, uh, just a few weeks before I decided to. And that was kind of a little bit of a deciding factor. And then after that dinner, I was like, forget it. I said, at least the drama in Comicsgate is above board, but everyone that I know in that community, they're supportive of one another.
And it can
You
be
know,
entertaining sometimes too.
it can be, yeah. At least the drama and at least if someone's going to talk bad about somebody, you get a nice live stream out of it. Here,
Right?
here you just walk away from the dinner table feeling really icky, and
Right.
I didn't care for it. So I talked with Anthony, and he said, "Dude, you just tweet it." He goes, "You tweet it, post it," and he goes, I will share it out, and I will invite you into a couple groups." And so I made the declaration, and boy, did that upset a few people. And so I wound up losing my editor, which is immediately, which is why I found Piper. I interviewed several editors, but she and I just clicked. I'm like, oh, you get what I'm trying to do here, and
Right.
I felt like she was going to be the right fit. And then later on, my letterer, like almost 2 years after I became CG, she found out that she started getting back on Twitter and found out that she'd been getting paid Comicsgate dollars. Did
Oh
not care for
no.
it. Did not care for it. She goes, I don't want any association. And in the middle of a project, quit. And so I started lettering again because you know, I did a lot of lettering in the 2000s because I wanted to get into comics, but I realized through my faux pas that I was not very good at the comic book art thing, not to where I wanted to be able to get paid to do this, but I could letter. And so I started doing the lettering thing. So I went back to lettering, and then post COVID, I just didn't feel like doing it. It was hard to type. I actually have to use a small keyboard to be able to do all my typing, and I've got one hand to do it with, and and the copy and the pasting and everything was just annoying, and I didn't want to do it, and so I hired Eric. He said he would do it, and he's a
Uh-huh.
professional and he's great at it, and um, best
So,
money I ever spent on lettering.
like, have you lost complete use of your left arm?
There for a while, I couldn't move it at all. I was completely paralyzed. I have
Wow.
gotten to where I can lift it now like this. Sometimes it requires a little extra help from this side, but I can. This is all the more I can close my hand and open my hand. This one I can pinch a little bit. I've gotten to where I've got a little pop socket on the back of my phone, and I can hold it in there and hold my phone up now. Um,
So your hand has become your phone stand.
yeah, the way I have to look at it, this is precision instrument, this is blunt object,
There you
blunt
go.
instrument. So yeah, so this is like, smacking things or whatever. I have gotten to where I can hit the shift and the tab and the cap locks with this finger. So it's like it is getting, so it's now part of the team. It's like
It's all starting to come back together.
it's like the coach's nephew. You let him play, but not a lot, So yeah, that's kind of where it's at right now.
Are
But
you able to drive and like
no, I'm
no.
not cleared to drive yet.
Okay.
Um, they're worried about stamina. Number one, being able to drive for that, because I get very tired very quickly. I
Right.
can't make a full day without a nap. Um, Walking across the house, I get completely winded, and so they're worried about that. Um, we've had some issues with therapy. Insurance isn't one to pay for therapy right now, so we've had to discontinue that. So my progress is slowing a little bit. But my wife's also very much concerned about my ADHD. So I had it under control before I got sick. Post COVID, no control whatsoever of ADHD. And I daydream all the time. Like I will just trail off and I'm thinking about stories and new ideas for characters and I'll just like look off into the sky and not realize that time has passed. And she's like, I'm really worried that if you drive, you're going to just run people over, so number one, physicality. I don't have that to be able to drive. I've not been cleared by anyone to be able to drive yet. So I can't
Okay.
operate the heavy machinery. But my wife's also concerned about my living in these other worlds that I create. as much as I do. She's like, that's going to be crazy.
Let me tell you, that's a worry of all wives, okay?
Yeah. Fair.
I want to say, night, Joe Froggo.
Good night,
Thanks
Joe.
so much for all you do, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming by and hanging out. Appreciate it.
We love our Joe Froggo. Let's talk about hybrids.
Yes, let's
This
talk
is your
about
newest
hybrids.
campaign right now.
It is. It's this book was actually ready to go before I got sick. The only thing that
Okay.
needed to be done was lettering, and so I did not do that. But I have started drawing the next book, and so that's going well. It's actually the art's looking a lot better than what I anticipated. But yeah, so yep, this is the third of 4 installments of the second arc. So it is the Legacy issue 8. So Legacy issue 6, 7, and 8.
Hold on. Let me stop you. Gotta stop you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
How in the world did you get Ming Chan to do a promo?
Well, I was looking for a birthday gift for someone, and I found out, and I saw him on Cameo, and I was like, hey, I wonder if he's doing shout outs for birthdays. I wonder if I could get a hold of him and see if he would do a shout out for my comic book. I'm like, and I told him, I was like, so I told him that, hey, I've got this comic. I would like it if you did, just these few phrases that I can use for an intro, for my campaign. And he took a look at it. He said, yeah, I can do that. And I'm like, well, you're on Cameo. I'll just set up I'll pay you to do it. Because I believe, everybody deserves to get paid for their work. And so,
Right.
I paid him a few bucks, and he did the thing, and he was supposed to like 20 seconds,
Right.
4 lines, about the comic. And he wound up giving me a 4-minute review, a 4-minute
Aw.
promo. Yeah, he was like, he really liked what we were doing with it and everything. And so I completely forgot about it, that he had sent me this video. And I was doing work with my YouTube, and I forgot, and I was getting ready to load some videos, and I was like, Ming Chang promo. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I talked him into doing that. I talked him into doing that promo for me last year. And so I posted it in this one halfway through the campaign. Honestly, I completely, totally forgot about it. But yeah, so
That's
I met Ming
awesome.
Chang on kind of a fluke. I thought, hey, this would be nice to do. Was able to send him a bunch of books and some of the RPG quick plays that we did. They've got books over there at the Secret Stash now too. So,
Do
but
you
we
care if
don't
I
tell
play
them over
it?
Comicsgate. You can. It's long, 4 minutes, but yeah, you're more than welcome
All
to
right,
play
I'll
it.
watch it on my own here in just a little
Yeah,
bit after we get off here.
yeah.
I also don't want, if you're getting tired or anything, please let me know and we
Oh,
will.
I'm good. I'm good for a little bit longer here.
Okay. I want you to know. Feel free to be like, hey, I need to lay down or whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
But no, I'm really enjoying like the artwork. The artwork looks
Thank
really
you.
good with the colors.
Yeah. So
I like
Patrick
the
has been with me
colors.
since the beginning. Patrick Gam is my colorist. Since the first issue, he's been there, and we've grown together, with our art. So he understands the universe quite well, quite well. And then back in I can't remember what year, back around issue 5, whenever I was doing issue 5, I got a new layout guy because I was working on so many things. In everything I write, I like to work with other collaborators to kind of increase creativity and creative input.
Right.
So if I write a book and I'm drawing it, I always hire a layout guy, somebody that will go in and just rough out the thumbnails for the page, just so that a fresh eye is on it. And so I hired this guy. I was looking for somebody new, because the guy I was working with was not making great choices, and I was wind up, replacing about the last book was about 80% of what he did. I wound up redoing. I just didn't care for it.
Right on.
And so I wound up hiring this guy named Brian Dawson, and he's been with me now ever since. And we went back and remastered a lot of those earlier issues for the Arrow release, since I started releasing the books through Arrow Comics when Randy Zimmerman decided to relaunch that company, which was a company I was familiar with from back in the '90s. As a
Right.
as a teenager, I remember buying Arrow Comics, and so it was
And
really cool to be a part of that.
Randy as well went through a whole thing with his COVID. So
He
like,
did. He was in the hospital about as long as I was. I think
so were
maybe
you two able to kind of like bond with that, or was it
we
like,
really have. Yeah, we really have. We bonded over that, and we were both part of a deal that went sour, and we bonded over that. And so
that's what I love
Randy,
about this community though, is like you can like if you go through something, there are people that are going to be there to like, lift you up and to support you. And there's also going to be people that, they're going through something similar, so that they're going to be there to support you as well,
yeah, yeah, it's the community is amazing. I absolutely love it.
Amanda B says,
Uh,
"Happy birthday, Luke."
Thank you, Amanda B. Yeah, it's been a good day. It's been a really good day. I know when I get off stream here, I've got birthday cannolis from this really great diner, this really great bakery that we've got here in Jacksonville.
And I
So
just want to point out, we all three are May babies. So
yes,
happy birthday to us.
happy birthday. My wife is a May baby too.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me that. She's also a
Yeah,
May baby. But
yep.
she's a Gemini, where us three are
Hard,
Tauruses.
hardcore
So,
Taurus. Yeah,
yeah. So that, see, I always find that interesting too. Like the way it goes halfway through the month, and then because you're like right on the brink of being a Taurus there.
yeah,
So you get a little of both.
yeah.
So I get cheesecake for my birthday. You get cannolis. I'm kind of
Well,
jealous.
yeah. Well, I also got a maple bacon cupcake. So it's like
Oh,
the
that sounds really good.
the sponge is like a pancake kind of uh, texture and taste, chocked full of bacon with this maple icing on top, this
Oh
thick
my
maple icing
gosh,
with a piece of bacon on top. I mean, it's delicious. I ate
that
about half of it, and it's rich. I mean, I'm wired because of that thing. So yeah, ooh, yeah,
sorry. I get sad. Like I told you, I get sidetracked. Shiny squirrel.
yeah.
Roast
Food
food.
gets me. Food's like my new thing. Coming out of this thing, I didn't get to eat for so long. It was like 80 some days before I got to eat. Um,
Well, you probably have a new appreciation
oh,
for
I
taste
do.
and smell and sight and hearing
Yeah,
and
I do. They would give me pureed food, so for a while I could have pureed food, and you do not know disgusting until you've seen a pureed banana pancake. It looks like what you would find in a baby's diaper. You're
I
familiar with
used to
that?
take care of elderly people. And so I would have, people that would, not be able to swallow, or, because they had Alzheimer's or
Hmm.
Parkinson's or something like that. And so I ended up having to do a lot of stuff pureed for some. And
Yeah,
yeah, it can get pretty funky.
yeah. I actually just recently have been able to eat cake, bread products again, any kind of bread product. I was completely turned off by it for many months. So yeah, just recently I've been able to do bread. So
Um,
totally
so one of
lost
the
it.
things with a hybrid, let's talk about your tiers over here so that everybody knows
Okay.
what to get when they back like your featured tier. And
Okay. Yeah. Well, feature tier is really cool. That is kind of a catch up tier where you get part. So I want to preface this because probably people have never heard of this before. Uh, on this, I know a few of these people have, but probably most of them have not heard of me before or this book. The best way to describe this is like a Chris Claremont era X-Men type story that is based around a creature called the Nephilim and the ancient alien lore and religious myth and legend, kind of all of those things. Uh, we have one of our main antagonists is a historically recorded demon that is, that you can Google and find out a lot of stuff about. So we tie in all of those like conspiracy theories and stuff like that into the story. So the first arc that I started was called Trash Day, and it was 5 issues, and it covered the fact that there was a manufactured global event that was taking place. It was periodically taking place that was causing people that had a recessive Nephilim DNA, a recessive trait, to pop, to materialize, and to they were beginning to develop godlike abilities. But these people would start to get these powers, and someone was going around and systematically abducting them. And in the process, some of the abductions were stopped, and a small group of these heroes were trying to figure out who was behind it. And they wind up discovering that this corporation called the Hybrid Engineering Corporation was behind the whole thing. And in the process, the first arc ends with them going in to have a rescue mission to save some loved ones that were being held in this laboratory they were being tested on. And so that was the first arc. And so the second arc, Killing Field, it takes place 6 months later. And some of the characters have started getting to know each other better. Some romances had blossomed during that time. And they find out at the beginning of the arc in issue 6, or part 1 of the Killing Field, that pardon me, that that what they knew about the human trafficking was not the end of the story, that there's this massive drug ring that is kind of a byproduct of the human trafficking that is in place with this corporation through shell corporations, right? So they're trying to
Is
put
that
a
your
stop to the
Alexa?
corporation. That was my Alexa. Yes.
Okay.
Apologies. I got to
No,
apologize
you're
for my
fine.
dog and my Alexa all the time.
No, you're fine. I just want to make sure like nothing starts playing or anything.
Yeah, no, I won't. It just lets me know someone's at the front door. But so that's kind of where we're at with this whole thing, and the team gets split up because they're trying to put a stop once and for all to this demon that's kind of manipulating this whole thing. And but they don't realize that he's the game master for a reason, and
Right.
that they're all being played, and that this is going to come to a head at this place called the Stardust Motel, which we've dubbed the Killing Field. And so I like to write every book like it's somebody's first issue. And so I have created it to where you can jump into this story without having read the first 5 issues. You can just get into it where it's at. But we do have a catch-up tier for this campaign, for this arc, plus a couple of trade paperbacks available left over of the first arc. Plus, we're remastering and re-releasing through Arrow Comics the first 5 issues, so you can get all of those. We've got the first 2 issues available as add-ons with this campaign. So I wanted to say all that because this is brand new to people. I wanted them to kind of get an idea about what we're doing here. This is all very well thought out, and it's something that's spending a lot of time with. So you can, with this featured tier, you can get those 3 issues of part 1 through 3 of the Killing Field, or legacy issues 6 through 7. And the really cool thing that you get with it is I was working with a wonderful 3D artist last year to make a Trash Man bust. So Trash Man is one of the main characters that you get to know early on in the series.
Okay.
And so to make a bust, and so I had planned to do a lot more of these, but I have to limit it to 10 because I'm printing these off 3D print, and I'm doing the faux finish, the bronze finish by myself. So it's a mini bust package that we've got for 100, and they're very limited. We've got 5 of those left. So that's kind of the main tier that I'm pushing, because they're going to be rare, and I'm probably not going to print off too many more after this and try to finish them myself, because I've got a lot of other stuff to work on.
Let me ask, do you have it where, like, say they don't want the bus, but they want to get the books, they can add them on as they're checking out?
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, we've got all of, Everything is add-on. We've even got, like, if you get a tier that doesn't have a bust, we have 5 bust for add-on, so that you can get those. We have a
And you
catch-up
also have
tier. Yeah,
just the
for
$30 tier where they can get all 3.
yeah, they can get the cover A for all 3 of them, and then I've
Mhm.
got another option where you can get cover Bs. And we do a cool black cover for every issue in the Killing Field, because obviously you can't have a story called the Killing Field and not like do something cool for a cover,
Right?
So there we do a it's a matte black paper, and the art is printed with a clear toner, so it gives a spot gloss over where the art is printed. So it's really cool. And each issue, there's like 55 or 60 of those printed for each issue of the Killing Field arc. And so you can get that. That's available in 2 bundles. Is one of those bundles that you have to get that from. But,
That's awesome, man.
yeah.
And then you've unlocked this standee.
Yeah, we've unlocked 4 stretch goals already.
Oh
So
wow.
that bone standee, which is an acrylic standee with him printed on it, a metal trading card. Um, then we've also unlocked an ash can for the character named Triple Play, who's in the series. Uh, a writer named Shane Almond has, who's a big Archer fan, has partnered with me to write the backstory for this character, who's been pretty well left a mystery. And so that ash can will be available to backers only during the campaign. So you have to back during the campaign to get it. We're not printing any extras at all. But it is full color, so it is going to be in full color. So not like a typical ash can. It's going to be really nice. And one of the stretch goals, if we can hit it in the future, will be that we're going to make that a holofoil cover as well. So we'll make it super collectible. Only going to print enough for all the physical backers. So physical backers only will get one.
It's awesome.
Yep. And then we have a Bone, who is one of the characters in the book. You get a chibi patch that's iron on, so you don't have to try to hand sew it on there if you don't want to. But
I prefer the iron-ons.
I do too. Like, I'm like, that it's a little extra to do the iron on feature, but I think it's better for the backers when they
Right.
get the patch and it's iron. So it's more convenient. And so I'm not thinking about my pocketbook as much as I'm thinking about the backer and their experience with it. So the first 2 patches I did were very masculine. They're black with white trim and logos and very harsh. And then so the last patch I did was a Chlorine, which is one of the characters in the book. Her chibi version was a patch, and so her little brother is actually Bone, Caleb, and so of course he's going to be in tow right behind his sister. So that's why we've offered the chibi patch. And my friend Joe Spicer at Starcross Comics did my chibi art for me, and he's very talented. Very talented. Looks it's very cute. So
That's awesome,
yeah.
Luke. Super excited for hybrids. Like, yeah, everybody should go and back this book. Like, it looks
Yes,
awesome.
please.
You can catch up on the whole art for $30, and you can add on too.
Yep. You can add on the
So
trade. We are going to be releasing a remastered trade because, like I said, the first 5 issues, like the first issue itself, I went back in and about 80% of the book got changed, got improved, and then we extended it. There's a couple scenes that we added back in that had originally gotten cut. And so Piper wrote a scene for issue 2. I was like, I need 2 pages here. And so she actually wrote a scene for it. We talked it
I'm
through.
excited to see that. Real quick before we go any further, Eddie was asking earlier if he could follow you on Facebook and YouTube.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think Eddie's well taken with you, Luke. I think we're all
Awesome.
taken with you, and we're all so excited to have you here and to see you
Well, thank
just
you.
being amazing like you are.
Yeah. Well, what you can do is you can go to my website, lukestonestudios.com, and it's kind of like a link tree over there. Everything that you need to know about me can be found there. I've got a store that has a bunch of cool hybrids merch, and then you can buy books. A couple of the books we have available there for purchase. A link to this campaign, my YouTube, my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, and
That's
and
awesome.
I've even got some music on there when I used to be able to play guitar, so you can hear what used to be, um, and hopefully one day will be again when it comes to music. So, yeah.
And Eddie, we hope you have a great night, friend. Hope you sleep well. Hope when you wake up on the other side of the pond that it's a beautiful day tomorrow for
Yes.
you.
Yes. All blessings to you. Much success. Thank you.
So we've been going about an hour and 10 minutes.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm probably about gonna call it because I've got another thing I've got to do, and I've also got children running around here.
That's not a bad idea.
But to end it, I'm gonna play your trailer to play us out.
That sounds great.
That sound
Thank
good?
you. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, let me get it pulled up here. Let's see if I boomer this.
Boomer this.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad sometimes. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Can you hear it?
Welcome
Yes.
to Hybrid, the Son of God. In this highly acclaimed series, descendants of the ancient gods face off against a celestial threat. Our heroes begin to converge at the Stardust Hotel, where a deadly ambush awaits. Who will be the first to fall on the killing field? A fast-paced adventure where a Chris Claremont-era X-Men meets ancient aliens. Elements of drama, horror, and humor tell a well-crafted story. Complex character dynamics come into play as average people face unspeakable evil while learning to live with their newfound powers. Referred to as the X-Men I wanted to read, it is worth diving into the Hybrid universe now. With plenty of ways to get started at any budget, you can get your copy of Hybrids today, only on Indiegogo.